Kuvan, I am your GM in the Great Barrier, and we are here in the center of your entertainment galaxy, starting up with Star Trek Adventures Broken Sword. Today, we are on Qulpu, juHDaq, yIleH Part 4. For those coming into the archive for the first time, on this episode, why? I appreciate you are here, though, and I would highly suggest you go back through our playlist to check out the earlier content. We also run these games live on Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also check out if Saturdays are good for you in that time zone. We run Star Trek Adventures Aegis Saturdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. GMT. This will be a bit I edit out for the archive, but for those of you joining us live in the stream, Aegis is on a very brief break. There are some minor scheduling issues, the GM concluded. It will put us out for this next weekend. I think that on the 23rd we should be able to return, and once we do that, we may not be going quite main campaign. There might be a slight side or one-shot. Keep up to date on our social media for more. Also, you are welcome to join us in the Great Barrier Discord. Traverse the barrier and come to join what is a very fun community. Anyway, when last we left off, the crew of the Yan has been on the planet Mektor, the stronghold of the House of Cord. This is Tabok's house, and the location of Takur's fort, the ancestral home, trading hub, and home of a great many cats. Correct me if I'm wrong, it was Norwegian forest cat?
Correct. Very, very big, very, very fluffy.
Yes.
Very, very Klingon.
Yes. A most honorable cat. A great many honorable cats. In any case, Tabok, your journey home has given you the opportunity to allow the crew to replenish itself, or at least to resupply the ship with what supplies you have around here. The planet is not well off, neither is your house, but you still have enough to keep this one ship going for a bit longer. While the Yan has been put down, you have been trying to put out a bit of a fire around the home front. Your brother, you've found, Tabor, has been stirring up a slight bit of trouble after speaking with a representative of the Satlalth Guild. They are the most ubiquitous trading guild in the Klingon Empire, with a tentacle essentially in every industry. They are also, at its top, is the proper head of Satlalth, which is by far one of the most powerful commercial houses, easily dwarfing your house even in its heyday.
Yeah. Space Walmart.
Yes. So, they've come and presented you with, in essence, what seems to be a pretty good deal. Something that would allow a planet that's well off the beaten path, that is far from the typical trade lanes, the subspace currents that allow ships to go faster than their drives would ordinarily take them, that is well away from other centers of power near the border between between the Empire and out into the frontiers. I think we established towards like the Orion borderlands, and further out possibly even those upstarts in that Earther-led Federation.
Yeah, the Federation is probably the closest polity outside of the Klingon Empire.
Yes. But,
and you know, the Orions are just everywhere. They don't exactly have as
Yeah.
far as I know, territory that they claim as their own. They just trade with everybody.
Yeah. We can just worry about those finer points later. In any case, the deal would basically turn Mektor into a hub of theirs. It would bring a great deal of wealth to the house, allowing it to refurbish and even purchase new ships for a trading fleet. It would construct orbital stations that would allow an exchange of goods and supplies. There's quite a bit of latitude it brings you as far as like revenue that you can charge on any fees that come through. It's all in all a very good chance for you to profit quite a bit. The major like sort of things they're asking in return, they want an office in Tikor's fort, and they want some of the lands elsewhere on the continent for some other development on their part. I will say it stipulates it is like nothing with like a large concentration of workers. They are not looking to build a rival city or anything of the sort. It rules it out so that any settlements that are built are under your jurisdiction solely. So that's basically they, in exchange for giving them the ability to set up a hub station of sorts and to build a little bit here, they are prepared to offer considerable tribute. It's a tempting deal. And
But the part that bothered me was that the large sum of money that they want to give me, they're considering it a loan.
yes, they a lot of the money that they have is framed in terms of loans. There's probably some bit that would be. I'd imagine that there is a rental there as well, which could even out over a certain amount of time. That plus revenue. It's. Yeah. Obviously, you have reason to be wary given the financial history of your house. It's a difficult prospect. However, it's one that you've at least stated that you are open to consider. You have other issues to deal with, however. In particular, there is word that there have been things going on back aboard the ship. In particular, Raldar, you have been investigating the circumstances of your pursuit, of the bounty that has been laid on you by the Creel, which, between the earlier investigations, before Theon even came to Mektor, and your interrogation, you worked out that the Creel seemed to think that you were responsible for an assault that happened on a mining outpost. One where the Jan was present, and Tabak had ordered your mutant clone, Dar, to be deployed. You proved to the Creel that it was in fact a different creature, or that you were not directly responsible. And then deciding that the prisoner was, I don't know, more trouble than he was worth, in need of testing, perhaps just wanting to give him the opportunity for honorable death, you allowed the creature to, you allowed Dar to fight the Creel. It somehow managed to just beat back Dar long enough for you to judge that the Creel maybe should survive, at least a little longer. More entertainment value that way. After that, the doctor provided some care in order to heal up the Creel, and some of you are starting to get to know him, just a little bit. He's been slightly more amenable after coming out of the doctor's surgery and not finding himself eaten. But he is still someone that was hired out to hunt one of you, and there's obvious issues with trust of, issues potentially with the Creel's culture, so you have a great deal to figure out, and that has also been brought to your attention, Captain. So, let's go on ahead. This can either be later that night, or Tabak, if you would prefer, we can move this up to the morning. How soon would you like to deal with the other issues?
Well, I'd like to go back to the ship because I haven't gotten the full report on what we possibly scanned on the ship that came into orbit from the guild.
Copy that. Do you want to, well, so do you want to make that, like, immediately post-meeting that evening?
Yeah.
Okay. So, we'll say that you are walking back, the doctor following you, as the dusk has given way to twilight. So far as you know, the representative of the yIleH Guild, one Hashok, has returned to his orbiting vessel, which he has tried to assure you is of no consequence or concern. It was just the thing that they use to cart around their dignitaries or negotiators. Obviously, you're going to check on that yourself.
Yes. Trust but verify.
Yes.
It
So
worked it worked in the 80s.
yeah, you walk out to the Yan in the open air starport. The ship is set down in the nearest berth, and one of the few that is still well maintained, that is somewhat orderly, that has supplies nearby. After a long day, you would not envy the walk that you put Hashok on to go to the very furthest and most rough and tumble of them. It probably wasn't also the best impression for the relative dilapidation.
Yeah, well, this was set up by my brother without me being a part of it, and I didn't trust these people.
Yep.
So,
Yep. So, stepping over to the yawn and into the elevator at the ventral, or that comes out of the ventral end of the ship, you and Kresic begin to ascend into the vessel. The doctor will simply turn and say, "Captain, whatever you have to... you have plenty to figure out, but I don't believe it requires my attention right now. If you can bear the work, then I will... I have other things that must be done."
as you wish. I appreciate your joining me on this little escapade.
He just gives a single nod, and let's see, with the... Well, let me ask, Tabak, where are you going?
The bridge.
Okay, so the lift will get off first on the... it'll get off onto the main deck. That'll be your stop then, where Kresic will stay and wait to go up to the crew deck and back to his medical bay.
Yep.
So, you ascend, or well, rather, you walk down through the hallways, and we set the scene over on the bridge. Let's make sure that I have all the right tokens here. Who would like to be on the bridge right now? That is to say, who would like to be on the
Azek
scene?
will be if it's this or it's. You said it's early in the morning, right?
No.
No.
We're still in the evening now.
Evening. Okay. Azek will be in his quarters.
Okay. Let's see. I think I'm actually going to let Vopri be off and resting, and if nobody's opposed, I will use Zional for a little exposition here. Would anyone else like a character on the bridge right now?
I can deliver food. Basically doing rounds.
Okay, we can say that Traven is also present there. I keep putting them in the wrong layer. Last chance there, Caligo, Ray. Nope. All right.
I nominate Caligo.
You want me there? You want me up there?
Oh, it's wherever you want to be. So we can.
If
we
I'm
can-
being called, I'll answer.
Yeah. We'll say our big lizard friend is getting some rest. So, Tabak, you step onto the bridge. And I clear out one more token that I realize shouldn't be there. Okay, there we go. Alright, Tabak, you step onto the bridge. And you find lighting is low. I think systems are at minimal power right now. It's definitely got the slight night shift vibes. Indeed, most of the computers are presently out, but you notice the bridge is not entirely devoid of activity. For one, carrying a tray of food, Traven is near the weapons console, and having a little chat with a hooded figure that, from the look of his garb, you recognize seems to be Zional. As you're walking in, we'll start off a little with the conversation. Yes. I don't suppose in your line of work you're in any particular need of other fineries. I mean, I understand the desire for your, for more science kits. Are you looking for interesting test subjects, I guess is my question.
Well, I mean, not at the moment. I'm more focused on trying to get back into it. Like I'm pretty rusty. I did most of this during my intermediate school years, but I knew I had a knack for it, and I feel like while I'm on the ship, I could like branch out a bit. If you catch my drift.
Yes, I see. Finding a hobbyist kit to get you back in the swing of things shouldn't be too much of a problem. Until then, well, otherwise, I'd say I could. I'll see if I can find you anything more interesting. Who knows? Right chemical reaction, and it might provide a dish a certain extra pop.
And if you do happen to find these things for me, I could take some of your finer food ingredients and turn them into something that you'd enjoy.
Oh, most considerate
Whenever
of you.
you want.
Yes, most considerate of you, Traven. Oh, well, Captain. Almost didn't see you there in the shadows. That's truly a strange thing for me.
I would have thought you more observant.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I heard you come in. Hard to miss those footfalls.
Yeah.
I made a fresh batch of back gold, Captain. Would you like a cup?
I need blood wine.
I can get that too.
Did Vopry get the scan of that ship in orbit?
Oh, I rather think he did. Poor thing was a little exhausted after he's apparently been running diagnostics all day since the system got set up. I think he's probably taken most of his meals up here. Though Traven could speak more to that than I.
I just sort of barrel past him, get to the controls, and go to pull up the report.
Oh, so you were looking too at the interesting readouts from this vessel they have in orbit.
Yes, I need to know what's in it and what's on it.
Oh, well, I can answer a good bit. I happened to glance over just a little bit of information here. As you slant down by the controls, he'll just he'll grab a particular knife and just start a very small knife that he will begin flipping through his fingers. Yes,
Oh.
yeah. Absolutely. That is Cyanol. Were you more concerned about their disruptor complement of their bank-style weapons, or their torpedo loadout, which, is considerable? I dare say that their complement is easily...
No, life
Fine.
signs and what's in the cargo holds.
Oh, I see. Well, beyond
I
their...
want to know if they brought extra.
Well, I suppose I could tell you a little about that. Well, it seems as though the only it seems as though they're actually a little sparse in their rather large cargo bays. Grant you, there does seem to be a sign of some mechanical components. I would guess possibly for some sort of industrial systems. At least if I... He looks over at the screen reflecting against the nearly blacked out goggles that he seems to perpetually wear. Yes. If I had to guess, I would say it's some sort of heavy industrial equipment. Not so much that, I'd say if you wanted to build perhaps a couple asteroids worth of bases or prefabricated structures, you could do that quite easily. That said, I don't know the precise function. I'm not an engineer, just a simple quartermaster.
I am an engineer. I'll take a closer look at whatever it is we got the scan of.
Okay, give me a reason plus engineering roll. Or, no, insight plus engineering.
I don't know if any of my foci will work with that.
I'll throw out some that you think might help.
Almost all of them have to do with with ships. Ship shields, ship weapons, warp core, electroplasma systems, xenotechnology.
Yeah, not quite. This is Klingon tech that we're dealing with.
Yep. Yeah.
Klingon tech.
Okay, that would be one success. Zional isn't mistaken here. I guess, let me roll the ship to see if it can assist you with pattern recognition. Or if somebody wants to roll the ship, let's call this engineering and sensors. Much appreciated. Okay, with 2 successes,
Oh, the ship actually helped for once. Oh my god.
that it did. That is a 5 on the die. Unfortunately, its engineering is like what your security was, so having a focus every time isn't going to help you much. In any case, what the sensors can tell you is that there is indeed some sort of heavy industrial equipment on board. There are considerable stockpiles of various refined alloys, readouts that, in your mind, look to be some sensitive technical equipment. Things are well shielded. It's not I don't think right offhand with that roll... it doesn't completely eliminate suspicion, but it's clear that at least going off of crew complement, it is nothing unusual for that class of vessel, in this case performing what is essentially shuttle service. So there's standard crew complement for managing the ship, engineering sufficient security and weapons complements to act as Marines against a boarding action and other aspects of the crew, but it is not loaded as you would expect a troop ship would be, let's say.
All right, that's good to know. That's really what I needed to know.
Yep.
Good. I reach over and I touch the button to call the house.
Okay.
And I want to talk to my wife for a moment.
Yep. So you press the button, opening the hailing frequencies. Let's play just a little sound bit there. Oh, I do believe you. We have a most unusual busy tone there. But then the line connects and says, well, Morothy, would you want... Well, I'll just say the audio comes over. Gavan, she says over the line.
Wife?
Husband. What have you learned?
They are not... It is not an invasion ship.
A rare bit of good news. You'll
Yes.
understand, though, if I do not keep my bat'leth at the ready.
How much of that feast that was prepared for the crew and my return remains?
There are some scraps. I was preparing to distribute some among the retainers.
Good. Then I will send some... do we have enough supplies? Do we have enough to feed my crew? It is not as large as it once was. Not of scraps. Do we have enough to do more
Yep.
food?
I thought we grabbed food on the shopping episode. Out of game.
Yeah, there was some food that was beamed up, and I would presuppose at this point Traven has already been making the rounds to feed people once it became clear he wasn't invited to either cook for Tabak or have a meal at his house.
Rude, but yeah.
I will see what our kitchens can prepare. There are some things, some dishes of which a sufficient quantity remains.
Good. Let me know when that will be ready. I'll be returning home shortly.
She acknowledges, and line gets out after that.
Then I put the all hail to the whole ship.
Yep.
Crew of the Yan, there will be a small reception at my home. Food and wine. All are invited. Hit the button, turn it off. I'm returning home. I will let you know when the food is ready.
Oh, I will consider it, Captain, but I have just gotten a meal of my own. Zion says at this point.
The invitation is... You'd best come.
Oh, of course, I wouldn't miss it for the world, he says, effortlessly pivoting, and Traven is just sitting there. I must say, I rather haven't quite found my appetite after all. I think my eyes were a little too big for the meal. Could you take this back?
What did you just say to me?
Oh,
He said, "Take the food back to the galley."
my eyes, I'm afraid, were just a little bigger than my stomach in this case. I'm sure you could find a good place to make use of this food. It is simply a pity that it seems that I do not have, or now will not have, the space to accommodate it all.
Raven slowly grabs the plate, clenching his teeth. Of course, I will gladly take this back.
He produces a few Darsecs out of his pocket, which, correct me if I'm wrong, Croker had given him, had paid him quite considerably for finding the captain.
Broker had given him a shit ton of money, and he did not at all ask for it back. So yeah, Lionel should have gas money.
Yep. I'm going to say that he grabs a few of the, I'm going to say that there are at least some Darsecs that are properly minted, and just because it's a standard we've established, there is a bit of the gold-pressed latinum-type slip for some of the really nice stuff, or the bougie thing that I think Croker would have. He sets quite a few on the tray that where you're taking the plate. Of course, I always tip regardless of service, and this was a most excellent service.
I hope.
Is there a knife on the board?
There's not he did not hand you a knife, but you do. I'm sure that you have a knife on you at this point. You might not have your own personal juHDaq, but I imagine Traven's had some time. He probably would have gotten a knife at some point.
I pull out the knife and I slam it on a flat surface, not on the computers, but like on a table part of the surface. If I wanted your money for giving you something, I would be a waitress, a wench. I am a cook. First, if you're going to ask for the food, please eat all of the food. If you want to take a few bites, throw it away, that's fine. Don't ever ask me to take it back. Secondly, I don't take tips. I am a cook.
Well, you will forgive me, Traven. I don't always understand the customs from those over on your end of the galaxy. Did you know that some of them don't even fully... there's a rumor some of them don't even fully appreciate the value of currencies?
I hear there's one that appreciates only currency.
Well,
I think you'd like them.
Well, you do as you will. I had a surplus, let's just say. And, he says, extending a hand out, I can always tend to... I could perhaps make just a little room, so long as the captain's wife and chefs will not be equally as belligerent, or more so. Zional, cocks his head a bit towards you, Tabak.
What? I was reading the manifest. What were you saying?
Basically, he's trying to make sure that if he winds up turning down food whilst there, that you don't... he wants to make sure that he isn't going to be stabbed whilst in your manor, for that reason.
No, you won't be stabbed.
Very good.
Disapproved of, yelled at, treated with disdain, never invited back.
So about what all Klingons do. Very well, I may as well enjoy the dinner I asked for. And so Zional will take back to eating.
We still cool? I just thought I should get my point across. I don't want to make enemies. I just don't want it to happen again.
real quick, can everybody still hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, stand by just one moment. Alright, for some reason my headset went out there for a moment. I should be back now.
You were here the whole time.
Yeah, or rather, I can hear you again.
Oh, okay.
So, yep. Um, let's see, I think that's pretty much everything that would happen in this scene, unless anybody wants to say anything else here. Otherwise, we can go about the ship and...
I think you missed it earlier. I think it's when you cut off. I was telling Zionol that I don't want any hostility. I just wanted to make sure I got my point across. We're still cool, right?
oh yes, of course. You can expect I will keep to my deals, as I know you will yours.
I'm a lot of things. Usually not that much of a liar.
Oh, of course not. And I know that... I think we know not to cross each other. We both understand the effectiveness of a good blade.
And we're both not big hulking people.
He just smiles back at you. Big, wide grin, kind of bearing the sharpened fang-like teeth that he has. So,
Answer.
yep. After that, I think that might be everything immediately on the bridge. Unless either of you have anything you want to do.
No, I'm good.
Okay. So, question then becomes, let's see. Question becomes, where was my train of thought going to go? Let's see. Okay, so invite has been extended to the entire crew to leave the ship and come out. Who is on board to bring their characters?
Hey,
I am, but Betty's gonna stay behind on the ship.
Fair enough.
Crocker is going though.
Yep. All right. I will ask for I'm going to call it... let's call this control plus engineering. Just for Betty's part there. I'm going to set it to a difficulty of 2. All right. Well,
Hell yeah.
We'll cover that later.
Hell yeah. Alright.
All right. So we have Krokar going. I am pretty sure I heard Raldar also acknowledging. So one big Gorn friend will be present.
Azek will stay on board. He'll head towards the bridge, monitor the ship so we don't get any strange visitors while the party is going on.
Okay. Let's see. Zionol and Kilshaw will also attend. I will keep Vopri out of this for now, and the doctor has also decided that he's not going either.
Well, I kind of have to go.
Yeah. The question is, Traven, is Traven just coming along, or do we also have the other supporting character in tow? Since the invite was ambiguous.
The invite was for everybody.
I don't feel like he would feel like he's a part of the crew just yet. He hasn't even talked to the captain.
Gotcha. So, I'll allow all of them to regroup.
not confident enough to go native.
Yep.
With the local cats.
Yep. So Dar would be I think Dar would be the other person we keep behind then. So it is Dar, Voprai, the Creole prisoner, and Kresic.
GM, I have a question.
Yes.
Would Warnog be seasonal on the planet at the moment?
A good question. Tabak, what do you think?
About?
Uh,
What do you think?
would Warnog be seasonal on the planet right now?
Always.
It is a very nippy world, I recall you saying, but I don't know if
Yeah,
everybody's...
it's definitely chilly, and especially chilly for Klingons who, deal with, warm, humid worlds. This is not exactly a warm world.
I'll use my ingredients to whip up some Warnog. I believe that's blood wine and something else.
Okay. Would you be calling on your special capability as a chef? Believe that the Klingon rulebook gives you a special talent where... see, just double checking. I think I'd resent it to you recently.
Pull it up now.
Let's see here. Just before those notes, let's see. I've got my handy dandy rule book as well, which I'll just open up real quick. So I have the page saved as well. But the ship's cook, as far as I remember, does have the ability to, in the course of a particular scene, once per adventure, the ship's cook may declare a short scene of the crew eating a meal together. At the end of this scene, instead of reducing the group's momentum pool by 1, which I'm bad about anyway, you get to roll a challenge die and add the total rolled to the group's momentum pool. If the commanding officer allows, the meal may include blood wine. In this case, roll 3 challenge dice instead of 1, but add 1 to threat for each effect rolled as the crew gets a little too drunk.
Captain,
Yeah,
can we get drunk?
of course.
I'm declaring it.
All right, so I'm just going to say, well, we'll allow the crew to link up at the estate. So let's just move everyone over to the correct map. Setting up the copy of Mektor. Tabak, do you have any of the family around at the for this meeting with the crew?
You should definitely have your wife there for
Yeah,
no reason.
The adults of my immediate household would probably be there,
Copy that.
which would be the wife, the brother,
And the oldest daughter.
the eldest daughter. Yeah, because
Yep.
she's technically an adult.
Yep. So, sometime later on, the crew starts ambling their way towards the manor. I'd say that you probably come out in a couple of elevator trips, and we can allow that everyone starts kind of making it in close enough to the same time that you can catch up. So let's just get our tokens out here. We have...
Raldar already there. He got there first.
Yep.
And big.
Raldar is definitely among the larger members of the crew. Certainly dwarfing Traven.
Did you say large members?
God damn it.
Yes. I think Cheshire almost dwarfs Traven.
Wow.
You're all the worst, and I'm so glad that you're my tabletop group.
Aw, we love you too.
Yeah.
I'm
Let's
just
see.
glad I still have one shoulder to cry on.
Um, is that also an ASIC joke?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
I feel like Traven and Azek are on like the same wavelength and energy once he lost his shoulder. They have a vibe. They complete each other.
It's more like a lot of the muscle was gutted and had to be regenerated. Okay, so the last in the bunch would be would actually be Croker, as the five of you that have elected to go make your way towards the manor. Walking through the estate, or rather, through Takor's fort. For most of you, this is the first time making it out to the city. It's very rustic. It's also a bit run down on the direct route that you take. Some shops have been closed up for the evening as the day has wound down, but there are many more that are boarded up. Now, I'm beginning to wonder if this leader of a house of ours perhaps isn't quite as well off. Zionel thinks aloud.
It is best not to make speculations. As astute as they might be, he says, eyeing one of the boarded-up shops. Sometimes a bad marriage can bring you down.
I mean, if we're gonna be optimistic, he's doing better than we are.
Excuse you. Says who?
Says me.
Well,
Yes. You are you are down one shoulder.
and I would be careful too, Croker. Best not to speculate on the status of one's marriage if you don't want to draw ire for different reasons.
I commend the man for marrying. I too have married in my time. You get over it after a bit. Technically, I'm married to Betty, but you know, the fire's gone.
This is
I'm telling Betty.
She's
Yep.
married to the captain. It's all fine.
Kelshaw just shakes her head in the background and says something indistinct.
I feel like that sums up Kelshaw pretty good.
Yep.
Sticks her head in the background, says something indistinct.
Yep. Raldar, anything you'd want to contribute here? Seeing none, or otherwise you're muted, I will acknowledge that there has been a hydrate spend, so I have hydrated. You may take another swing at that now if you're unmuted.
I forgot.
I'll
All
get
right,
you.
It's like he's gonna say something to them, but then he shakes his head and realizes it would be a lost cause anyway. They're freaks.
Says the guy with the giant clone.
Yeah, I'm not the freak. The clone is.
I don't know. I've seen you try and show him how to use utensils. I don't think you know what you're doing.
He's learning.
Yeah.
He's but a boy.
All this said, Raldar, this has actually got to be a nice experience. The cold probably isn't that nice for you. You know that the world was kind of chilly, and with the sun down, it's getting colder. But
It's true. They have a marsupial pouch.
unlike the ship, you actually have the opportunity to stretch to your full 8 foot and change height out here.
Well, and I am quite interested to see the captain's home,
Yes.
no matter how poor he may be.
Yep. Well,
Damn.
as you approach the estate, you see several large cats about. Also, a couple guards, mechlets at their side, and disruptors holstered. As they shine a light in your direction to the five of you approaching. Nukne! What business do you have at this hour?
They would have been warned ahead of time.
Oh.
But okay.
We're the master of the house's ship crew.
Oh, I see. Words exchanged between the two of them. Some of you might vaguely make out the Lord Tabak did say unusual creatures. Very well. You may proceed through. And you are allowed to pass. Walking through the grounds, there's a bit of greenery, a few cats, some trees about. A nice little courtyard area before you enter the large building with the sort of oblong but rounded shape, spikes coming off of it at different points. Effectively, the citadel of the realm where Tabak also makes his home. Upon entry, you find, as we've described in earlier sessions, it is rustic, it is somewhat traditional, but very utilitarian. I think the best phrase, though, goes to Sean's description as Klingon cottagecore.
Klingon. A modest house.
Yep. And the door opens to the main hall. There's, I think, a retainer inside that, having been forewarned, and understanding that you wouldn't have made it past the guards if you weren't welcome, guides you to the main hall. The door opens, and you are allowed through. Sure enough, there, you see the captain and a few that are along his side. So let's make them all visible here. Tabak, your crew enters the main hallway, and you see Raldar and Traven at the fore. Some of the others at the back. Some of the crew has elected not to come. Yeah. Tabak, would you make any formal introduction?
Yes, I would introduce them all to my wife, at least. Everybody else would be listening for their own introductions. Wife first, then my brother.
And do they have names?
Yes, the wife is Marathi.
Say it again.
Marathi.
Okay.
Making down the kill list, Croker says. Right.
Would you spell that one more time?
Morathi.
Yes. The English rough proximity. But yeah.
Right.
You go down the list. You introduce her.
My brother Tabor. Younger brother.
Yeah. He just slightly raises his chin, keeping his face otherwise implacable.
Never mind.
And my eldest child, Toy Hui.
Yeah. Traven, there is a familiar woman standing much more formally and better dressed in the hall. I would imagine flanking Tabak.
Great.
And, Kressik's just going to kick his own ass for not being here.
He got some interesting readings of his own earlier, so I'll just say that, yeah. Anyway,
Croker strides forward and stands in front of the daughter. You have your father's countenance. You will make a fine warrior.
You pay a decent, honorable compliment. For some reason, I am not sure that even with that, it is enough for my father to greet you, or rather to approve of you. That said,
And you have his wit. Croker smiles. Cunning and sharp.
she smiles in turn. Well, I for one like you. You have the composure certainly of one that carries himself with honor, and yet a great deal of care. How do you keep that hair quite as well kept?
L'Oreal.
Yes.
God.
Don't you guys judge me for that. That was funny as shit.
That was funny. Yeah. that was friggin' hilarious. I'm just trying not to laugh and, have it interpreted as encouragement to Crooker.
Yep. So Toy for her part, will give a polite nod first towards you, Croker, and then says, "Well, it is very good to meet the people that work with my father and have served him honorably on his crew. Surely he has the most discerning eye, and that all of you are people of great talent." Morathy will also step forward. Indeed, you are welcome in this household, and you are welcome to share our food. Please sit. I think that we established there are a couple of long tables, so you may sit basically along them, and that the Taybox family proper has like a rectangular table of their own by which they may look out towards the crew. Whether you're still observing that here, Taybok, that is your decision.
Yeah, we're at the head table,
Yep.
which is like on a slight, like 2 or 3 step dais.
Yep. So, among players present, would you be taking advantage of the relative space, or would you be congregating closely together? What do you think?
I'm gonna be approaching the table
The head table?
where
that is?
Tabok is. Yes. My name is Traven Lex. I am Tabok's current chef, and hopefully more to the ship as I branch out my horizons. I've recently made some nice warnog for the weather, and I would like you, the House of Cord, to be the first ones to try it today. And I pour them each a glass, and I pour Tabok too.
I down it. How good is it?
Let's see. I guess, Traven, let's see how well you spiced it up here. I'm gonna call this daring plus, I think, science would be appropriate here.
Oh, daring? Oh no.
I'll tell you what, a more dedicated, if Traven went a little more meticulous on this, we could make it control instead.
Meticulous always.
You can't quite be daring when making wine.
True.
Very true.
May I use my cultural cuisine focus?
Absolutely.
Why does Traven have so many focuses and I've got like 3?
It's where all of my level ups have been going.
Well,
You subtle biscuit.
also, Croker is a supporting character who does get a new thing after every session there.
What? Okay. What about
Well,
wait?
not
What,
session,
what
but
about
adventure. Oh,
what about Whoa, she's only got like 4 or 5. Was I supposed to be doing stuff with that?
Woe should that's generally the top out. Also, hey there, Lavender. Welcome aboard. I quite missed you there, getting everything set. But yeah, we're in part 4 family reunion type thing. So hope you're enjoying so far. And yes, thank you there, Joe, for giving the tag on the archive if you want to check it out. No rush, no hurry.
I got your back.
And Ray, we'll just talk afterwards.
Oh no, it's fine. I'm just bitching to bitch.
Yes.
I am not surprised.
But yeah, to be
How
fair,
dare you?
you can give Croker, if you would like, you can give him, I think, a new talent, value, or focus. For those wondering at all, in the Star Trek Adventures engine, you can have your main characters. You can also have supporting characters that are... supporting characters are basically secondary ones that start out with less development. The points that they have are lower. They have fewer of the abilities or areas of specialty, even the values that let them access the really fun stuff like the points of determination. A lot of interesting features in this game. And with every new adventure, they get activated, and they can steadily be built up. They're never quite to the same heights as a main character, but they get closer. So I do it on a per-adventure basis.
I have a question.
Yes.
I know I've asked it before, but I always keep forgetting. I know determination can give me a crit success. What else can it do?
Spending your determination can give you a critical success. It can give you a re-roll after a bad dice roll. It allows you to re-roll the entire pool. It can allow you to avoid an injury if you sustain one in combat. And then it can also allow you to just make up a narrative advantage. Find some way to subtly change the plot, basically.
Oh, we can subtly change the plot with our determination.
Subtly.
Well, okay, listen, that was not subtle, I'll grant you, but that wasn't me, so I'm not taking that. I didn't know that's how you did that. Okay, good to know.
Hey, Captain.
Yes.
I love you. I just want you to know that. I'm going to use my determination.
Okay.
I'm going to use my For Honor and Glory value.
Ooh.
I want this to be the absolute best alcohol this family has ever had.
Mm.
And I want the narrative to be that everybody at the party likes me for the alcohol.
It's really trying.
Nice. Let him try.
I'm not saying he can't. He may well succeed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let's see. Yeah, for Traven, for your part, I'll say that the spice combination is such that I think that you have produced a very authentic, yet with a slightly unique take to that Warnog. You might have acquired a few spices exotic to the Klingon Empire, but otherwise, maybe that you're a little more familiar with from your days back when you still lived in Federation space. Or things that were at least a close analog to them. I'd say that Tabak, it goes down as many a good Warnog does, but adds, we'll say, there's an added peppery finish to it that feels very pleasant. It's not so much as to cause you to break out into a coughing fit, but it just tickles your throat in a way that's that gives you a sense of between that and the warmth that comes with it. It's a very invigorating feeling, let's say.
Ha ha! Kapla, well done! Well done!
The others begin drinking it, and Tabor says, Impressive. I didn't think anyone who looked to be from the realm of the Taranpul would have any such talents.
You know where I'm from?
I know where you're not from. There's certainly no Jigpui that I have ever seen. And
Tabor, mind yourself. He's a valued member of my crew. He's not Terran. He's no Earther.
Oh God, no.
And he is not a subject. He is my crew.
Morothy swishes it around in her glass a bit and takes another drink. If my husband should ever decide that he needs to hire on different personnel, or if you otherwise decide to explore other culinary pursuits, I might be able to find space for you in our kitchens.
Unfortunately, my life is the captain's, my lady.
Draven,
Yes, sir.
you have impressed my wife. This is not easy to do.
Sounds like someone's talking from experience.
I'm sorry. I'm losing it.
Yeah. Traven.
I don't want to have to replace yet another crew member. Really.
No, I don't know what we're talking about. I'm just making
No,
noise
no.
over
That
here.
was just me.
Oh, okay, that was you.
That-
Okay.
Yeah, that was not Tavok. That was me.
It'd been funnier if it was J-Bog. Okay.
Thank you. Hopefully, before we leave, I'll be able to cook your whole family a meal that they will enjoy. To test my food aside from my alcohol.
Toiwi smiles at you, Traven. I have little doubt that you will prove a very talented cook. It makes sense why my father would keep someone like you around. I understand it well now, I think.
Traven is an excellent cook. There was one experiment that I did not appreciate all that much that I hope he will eventually forget. But, yeah, he's damned good.
Cut to the bridge where Azek has halfway gone through a gach pocket and is singing the commercial thing into it, just moving dancing and swinging all about.
And he suddenly goes, "Why do I feel like someone's talking about it?"
It's the
Suddenly
Klingon.
he chokes on it.
The Klingon sneeze take.
Yeah. Yeah.
Raven stopped making them months ago. He just keeps coming up with them. I don't know how.
He's got them stashed all over the place.
Fucking squirrel.
When you want a quick meal that's no big deal, Gawk Pocket.
Cock pocket.
He's singing into it like a microphone.
I just imagine him in the shower doing that now. It sounds so terrible.
I mean, there's probably a stash in the shower, too.
Ugh.
Crap. Oh,
God,
water.
that'd be soggy as hell.
Not if you put them in the ceiling, Captain.
A water friendly Gawk Pocket. I like that idea.
Wet pocket.
No, not a wet pocket. That is wrong.
Oh,
That is
no.
so wrong on so many levels.
Boil him. Boil him alive.
Oh
and
my
for
God.
and for the people in Rurapente, jail pocket, prison pocket.
Prison pocket.
God.
No. Boo.
Oh. Oh. I will.
Listen.
Mr. GM, I will give you 2 threat if he just chokes and passes out on the gach pocket right now.
I cannot take it in good conscience because as awful an image as that is, Joe has observed the comedy rule of 3, and thus I cannot. By the rules of japes and mirth, I cannot knock him down for that.
Oh, but Betty can. Can I burn a determination to make him choke?
The GM is a cruel god today. So no. All right. So yeah, the Warnog will bolster all of you. It is also, I think, fairly strong. Zionel will have the good sense to take small sips of it. What the rest of you do is up to you. I won't force rolls of for like Constitution or like trying to retain it. I will, however.
I think you should, though. I think that would be funny.
Well,
Just to see wildly different drunkenness.
In its place, I was actually going to ask Traven, roll me 3 challenge dice, please.
Hell yeah.
And those are, with those 3, there are 2 effects, which means I will take 2 points of threat. And then, let's see. The added total there, in effect, is 1 plus something special, which in this case is giving me threat. However, that is a total of 3, so that will actually fill out your momentum pool in this case.
Yeah!
Yay!
So, let's see. Such that.
Should have been doing this earlier.
To be fair, this is an actual play, and we are still going somewhat full contact. So, that's quite all right, I think. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, let's go from here. So, yeah. Amidst the drink shared, would any of you want to engage? Otherwise, would you like to do more with this scene amongst yourselves? This is a relatively free moment for all of you.
Well, I need to introduce myself.
Do it.
Do it when you're drunk.
Do it
No.
when you're drunk.
No. I have to maintain decorum.
Someone radio the bridge. I can transport down the jukebox, and you guys can have karaoke night.
Karaoke.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
Since when
Let's
have we
for
had a
sure
jukebox?
do that.
We'll worry about a bridge scene later. Let's say.
He's not beaming anything into the house.
I don't like how you said later.
I installed the jukebox several episodes ago.
You
Well,
did, and we'll deal with that in a moment.
No,
Mulder,
he's not beaming He's not beaming anything into the house. The house has transport inhibitors.
Yep. Thank you. Ralph.
So he'd have to lug it himself, which would
Uh-huh.
be funny. Oh, that's good. Okay. I guess, Callie, you introduce yourself. Then we will be drunk.
All right. So I'm going to walk up to the family table now.
Traven,
Yes.
what can I do for you?
It's not Traven.
It's Raldar.
It's Hraldar.
It's
Sorry.
okay. He's already drunk.
Too many martinis.
Yep. Nope. Sorry. The voices in my head told me the wrong.
We are the same.
Sound nothing alike.
The clone chomping down on him has joined Traven and Raldar in a way that few can understand.
Even fewer want to.
Yes. Yeah, so Tabak, big hulking lizard boy that is your engineer, has walked up to the family table. I imagine, Raldar, you are in, such armor as you have.
Yes. Indeed, I am in my It is the closest thing. I have the formal wear, so yes.
Yeah. Tabor looks like he's about to make a comment, but then thinks better of it and allows you to proceed.
My name is Raldar, son of Kodlurk. I am here to pass my thanks for your hospitalities. I am Captain Tabok's head of engineering.
This one seemed like he would have been quite an able soldier too. That garb normally only comes with the time in the Empire's military.
I served the Imperial Navy during the 4 Years' War.
Durock's Folly is more an apt name for that. Oh. Morathi raises her head to that, says, "You honor us with your presence and your service, Raldar. Oh, I must wonder how it is trying to work with my husband when he is already quite the insistent engineer himself."
Raldar is the second best engineer I know.
I will not argue with that.
Raldar does not
It's-
want to escalate.
I still haven't found everything on the ship.
And, my dear friend, you never will.
I will take that as a challenge.
You can take it as a challenge, but I will also state, be very, very careful.
The loud, raucous laughter just like emerges out. I imagine like the hearty Klingon belly laughs taking place around.
Yeah, because I can't do that into the microphone because you'd all be deaf.
Yes. Yeah. So likewise, Warnaga's raised to you for that, Raldar, which at your comparative size with the mug they've supplied you, I don't think you have too much to be concerned of getting drunk.
No, I
It's
am
not right
definitely
away.
drinking. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So, others, anyone else that would want to take some time? I do think Zionel will at some point engage the lady of the house in conversation. For that matter, he'll say a little bit to Tabor as well, talking about how he's good at finding particular rare goods and might be able to supply them with different needs, going from everything about unique spices for the kitchen, particular interesting alloys and such if they want to take it for any of the ceremonial metalworking, particularly the mechliths that are so common here. I imagine there's even a moment, and of course I could show you the Tholian silks that make for a quite remarkable fabric, if I still had any.
some.
Yep. He lives out the meme there. So yeah. Otherwise, I think the dinner goes pretty well apace. If anyone else wants to introduce themselves, then you have that opportunity. Otherwise, the crew goes about the night. Does anybody else?
GM.
Yeah.
I sent you something.
Okay. Let me check that out real quick.
How dare you not share those winning lottery numbers with the rest of us?
Oh. Okay. I will say that between exchanges with those greeting people, there will be the occasional the glance will occasionally be met. So,
Can I roll the equivalent of a charisma check?
absolutely. Presence plus command.
Could I use my conversation focus or my
Ab-
linguistics focus?
Absolutely. All right. I'm going to say with 2 successes, I didn't give you a proper difficulty. You're full on momentum anyway. I'm just going to say that between the Warnog and your socializing amongst the crew that are here, I'd say that you generate a bit of lively conversation. Certainly enough to engage with Zional. Kelshaw might at least be a little entertained. Who knows? If Ray goes along with it, then maybe even Croker will be a little more. He might appreciate the distraction right now.
I was reading something. What am I appreciating a distraction for?
Oh, more just not worrying about the captain or having to wait to see how like with fingers crossed the relationship spirals down on that end and he opens himself to the next chapter.
You know what? I'm gonna have, while everyone is rejoicing, I am gonna have Croker, like, chatting animatedly with the wife about, like, beauty tips and such.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah. So the evening will go on, and there's definitely warm sort of sentiments all abound. The hall is not particularly full Tabak, but it is lively in a very nice, refreshing way. It's maybe something of I don't know if there's a particular bright moment that this harkens back to, given the dire straits the house has been in, but
Not in Tabak's memory. It has the house has been kind of quiet and sad for far too long.
yep. And this is probably a brighter moment. So, with all of that, unless you would like, any of you would like something while everyone is together, we could allow for a couple scenes to break off the evening, as it were.
I think I am gonna have a moment alone with Tabak.
Okay. Then we can put that in there. Traven, I can give you one as well. After those two, at the very least, I have a small bit of japery for Azek on the ship. Anybody else want anything while we are here on the planet? Or rather, like on the manor specifically? Seeing none, we'll go on and we'll let the evening break up. Some of you may be continuing to enjoy the very pleasant warnog that Traven has made. Let's see. I guess question would be, Tabak, would you wait for some people to excuse themselves to break off, or would you prefer to take a moment alone from that and just, step aside so that you can try to get this warm moment drilled into your head?
Klingon parties pretty much don't have an set end time. They just go until everybody is done.
Burned out.
Okay,
so Tabak will probably stay in the hall for a little while. I guess Traven, if you'd like, you can exit Kelshaw, and Kelshaw will also depart. and she'll say, Captain Raldar, she says, gesturing to them, I do have a bit of other maintenance work I would like to complete before the evening gets too far in.
Always good at your job. Thank you. You are appreciated, and you are welcome as a servant of my house and of my ship.
Yes, quite, she says, and just with a nod, walks out. Let's see, for her part, Toy, we will say, yes, Father, I must say I've enjoyed the drink quite a bit, and the feast and the company of your crew, but I too would prefer to, at least check on some of the other, sorry, I'm looking for the word, not her. She is not particularly affected, easily capable of holding her own here. I would prefer to make sure to check on some of the smaller ones out in the yard, ensure they have found comfortable places of rest, and just retire for my own rest.
As you wish, daughter. Thank you for being in attendance.
She'll nod. She'll also step out close to that same time. Around the same time, Traven, if you want to also have have a moment out of the hall.
For sure.
So while things are kind of breaking off, and you've not left the hall, Tabok, but you are kind of around at this point. Tabor drinks alone. Zional is probably chatting up with Morathy about some bits of exotic goods. Raldar, do what you wish in this case. I don't have... well, unless you have something in mind, I don't think there's an exchange quite centered on you right at the moment.
I am good.
No, right. Raldar drinks as well. But yeah, with that, Tabok, as you move about the halls, your transporter officer is present and able to, I'd say, safely able to make his way towards you.
It is a beautiful place you have here, Tabok.
It is home.
He leans against one of the columns, or whatever it's column-like. He is drunk, he is smiling, his cheeks are flushed. You have a beautiful family. Honoring, thoughtful, loving. I had forgotten what it was like to be in a home quite like this one.
Everything I do is for my family.
That is a quality I admire. He moves closer, not in his usual fashion. There's no, lasciviousness or anything like that. He is just open and happy. I understand my place amongst your crew. I am not stupid.
Never said you were.
Sometimes, he says very little deeply, you confuse me. It does not help when you raise your hand to me. It is more confusing. But I will try and honor this memory. And I'm not going to guarantee that I will cease my interest in you. I do not think I am capable. I am a lover more than a fighter, Captain. Although I am quite proud of how many bodies I have laid to rest under your house's name. But Your wife is a good woman,
Yes.
and I do not wish to encroach upon that beautiful relationship that you have. And he takes a step back, but he does put both hands, like he clasps Tabok's shoulders and does press his ridge to Tabok's forehead. I love you. I don't know how else to say it, but
I
will.
I cannot give you what you want.
I am aware. But that does not stop me from wanting. He smiles. It is a little rueful, but it is knowing. You should know, though, he says, inhaling as he steps away once more, just about to leave. Betty will not be so kind. Take heed. She is not a woman deterred by the truth of love.
One of these days, we're going to have a conversation about what exactly Betty is.
Betty is my partner.
Not today. Not
No.
today. I could not understand it today if the Empire depended upon it.
All you need to know about Betty is she too is a good woman, but she is very, very headstrong. And when I am with her, I too am headstrong.
As you say. But yes. Back to the feast.
Back to the feast! He raises his cup, and it just dribbles down his front. Oh.
Now you are getting into the spirit of things. And Tabok takes his mug and ha ha, and takes a big swallow of the contents.
You didn't have to clarify that, but how dare you? Oh my god.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. I was having a tender moment, but you know what? I'm gonna get gayer because you said that.
Oh, come on.
This is what you do. This is your fault.
You've added threat to Croker's personal head pool.
Croker will remember this.
Yep. It's also as Croker has conversations about the headstrong element or Betty's headstrong element, coincidentally on the bridge. Azek, you are attempting to access the jukebox. It is denying you and requests an encrypted password that you have never put into this machine.
That sounds like the insight engineering role to try to figure it out.
That would be. Let's see. I think this might be a contested role in this case. It would be your insight versus someone else's. Let's call it control plus engineering. It's 2 from Azek. Well, I think that gives way after multiple brute force attempts here. I think that at least gives way that there is something unusual trying to influence the machine from elsewhere in the ship.
Who is messing with my jukebox, my music? And Vopry's in his quarters, or is he down on the planet?
Vopry is also in his quarters.
Okay.
Little guy.
I'll go over to Vopry's station and try to start figuring out who else is left on board. Kind of do a ship-wide scan.
Yep. So far as you can tell, it is just yourself, Vopry, Dar, and Kresic. Kresic, he's by his console. He's over at he's in his office right now. He's accessing his computer.
What about Tiny? Is he?
Oh yeah,
are
Dar is also here. He is not terribly computer literate yet.
Yeah, but
Yet.
that's what they say about the Antarcticans, and we know that they're computer savvy. We know that.
Windows, please.
No.
Internet Explorer. Good?
Hot single Klingons in my area?
No. No. No.
Delete
Oh.
System 32.
I didn't know. I didn't know I had a relative 6 systems over that owes me several $1 million worth of latinum. If I click here, I can maintain contact with them.
Delete browser history.
Need more robot.
No.
What would I have to do to kind of get into the computer code to see who was the last one to change the security settings on the jukebox?
Anything he does, I'm going to contest with extreme prejudice.
Very good. I think that would be a reason plus. Now, I think I'll let command apply here. Or no, it can be engineering, but it could be like, base difficulty of 1 since it's contested now. Oh no, Azek, you've complicated.
Oh,
You failed and you complicated.
What would I roll for this, by the way?
We do have momentum. Can I spend a momentum to get rid of the complication?
You may buy off that momentum, or buy off that complication with a point of momentum. Just for reference, for anybody new, Star Trek Adventures is a 2d20 system, and the idea is you want to roll under a target number, which is the sum of an attribute, something more abstract, like control, insight, or reason, and a discipline, engineering, security, command, science, etc. A natural 20 in this system is bad. But you can buy those off with 2 points of momentum, sort of an in-game currency that the crew can accrue when they get more successes at a task. So,
Question. So he's re-rolling with momentum, right? Can I burn a determination to make sure he doesn't get that? Or can I burn a determination?
I'm not re-rolling. I'm just removing the complication.
yeah.
Okay, well, can I burn a determination to create a complication?
I think because under the circumstances, I don't think it would quite work. I will allow you to give me 2 threat for said complication, however.
I will give you 2 threat if you make it to where, like, his screen blacks out. Like, he literally cannot work the controls.
Yep. Essek, the computer before you just goes dark, controls likewise not responsive.
I hit the side of the screen. What is bloody wrong with this thing?
Do you want to try another console?
Yeah.
You move to the next
Can
seat
I-
down, the lights go out.
All right, can I do a control and engineering?
I kind of DM me on this. Until then, I like the idea of Azek walking around and finding that every computer just turns off the moment he goes there and the other one lights back up.
Yes.
So, yeah. Azek Vopri's old display goes dark, or rather comes back up as you sit down at a different seat. but the computer you're
If
at...
Betty has been introduced as a virus into my ship's computer, I'm gonna be angry.
She's not a virus.
Could I, at one of the consoles, they're going blank, right? As in the screen's going off?
Yes, that is the case.
Can I throw a audible command at the console so that way it would throw back an audio response to see if it is indeed just the screen going blank, or if it's the system is that particular system or node is shutting down completely?
I kind of like that idea as an advantage, and Ray, if you want to lean into that as a slight bamboozling for Betty in this case, then we could make that the humorous reveal to play the stinger on this scene, or to tag the scene.
Oh, sure. If you want it.
I
You
mean,
get
if
to
you
roleplay it
don't
out.
if you don't want to go for it, then no need to worry.
I am doing something shitty behind the scenes to see if I can do it. So give me 1 second. I'll DM you.
Copy that. Let's see. Isaac, I'll just say for now that you could... let's see. Thinking about how this would work on a ship of this era, because I don't know necessarily, like... Obviously, the computer systems on ships of this era, there's like a working auditory system on definitely some of the higher end ships. With the Yan, as it's such an old vessel, albeit one that the captain is refitted, I don't know, like... I don't know if the
be... Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's not like it's not something where you could do what they do from like TNG era onward, where it's like just repeated vocal commands from one officer on the bridge, and convincing the ship to automatically go and do different like processes like that. Is my list.
This would be the equivalent. It's a testing method we used to use for actual computer repair, where you trigger the system board to produce a beep. All it is just a single beep, and it tells you that the system is active, but it tells you that the screen is not. So it'd be the equivalent of, that sometimes if you hit the shift button way too many times and you get that audible beep and the pop-up window comes up, but that beep isn't coming out of your speakers, it's coming out of the system. That's all it would be. And most systems should have something like that, even if they don't have an audio port.
Yeah, I see where you're going.
But again, that's your call on that one too.
I think in that case that would be perfectly permissible, or there'd be something to make that work.
Okay. What inside engineering? I'm assuming.
I'll
Or
just
control.
I will let you just verbally make that call, and the computer will will make that acknowledgement.
Okay. So unfortunately, I don't have I'm not super techie when it comes to this stuff. So that would probably be the extent that I could do on my own. I couldn't actually start throwing commands at it and have that, the expected outcome of, say, give me diagnostics or whatnot, just to make the sound, make sure it's working on the backside. So I'm going to... I'd rather not disturb Vopri, but the captain would be mad if there's a virus or some dumb thing on board before he gets back, and we don't know when he's going to get back. So yeah, I'll comlink Vopri And Vopri, I apologize for interrupting your rest period. I seem to be having some issues with the computers on the bridge. Do you mind? Are you in a position to be able to come help me for a little bit?
I just wanted a few hours sleep, but I will. I will get up. I will do this. Just the, like, Vopri's voice goes into deep registers that you didn't know that it could as he, like, grumbles and mumbles his way out of bed and towards the bridge. It vibrates the very hull almost.
True
Oh
form.
my.
The true form. I've seen it.
Yep. Yes.
It's that the actor that played the old Jake Sisko, his voice. I can't think of his name, but he's got that unique, deep voice.
Yeah. Well, while all of that's going on, and as Vopri prepares to ask, have you tried turning it off and on again? Let's let that kind of tag the scene for now. We'll come back to that later.
You mean you want him to repolarize the power coupling?
Yes. So while all of that's going on, Traven, we cut to the night air around Mektor. You've just exited the main building, momentarily looking around. The air is very crisp, very cool. It's low lighting compared to the ship, but there's a few more openings in the clouds that actually allow proper starlight to filter in instead of the low, harsh blood red that tends to tinge the vessel. But yeah, while there's sounds of ambient life, you seem alone for at least the moment.
Do the stars look different than on Trill? I assume they do, but are they like brighter or?
Most definitely, such that you could see anything. There might be a few bright ones in the sky at your relative distance, or like relative location, but it's not a constellation that you. If there are any constellations viewable from here, which that'd have to be something set by people that had lived in this place for a long enough time. You wouldn't necessarily have that frame of reference.
Probably just take in the cool air and look at the stars. It's been a minute since I've been on planet just looking at the sky.
Looking for anywhere
Different when you're on the planet.
Looking for anywhere in particular? The voice ventures out behind you.
No. I would normally try to find home, but I've never been that good at astrology. Just seeing how different it looks on another planet. It's always just little differences everywhere you go.
I would imagine so. The weather can often be a bit cloudy here, so we don't always get the best views, but on some nights it's clear enough to see distant stars, make out Kittimer, even spot signs of the star on the main homeworld. The one that burns brightly around Konosh.
Have you ever been there?
I've never left this planet. Oh. I would certainly like to someday, but for the time being, there's not much in the way of means, nor is it my place to leave this realm, this sanctuary.
What do you mean your place? You're a person, aren't you?
Oh, certainly, and as a lady in the House of Court, I do have quite a bit of latitude, and, well, as you remember from earlier, I do take a little bit more sometimes. Not quite the same levels of people that would necessarily keep me out. Rather, keep me in the fort. But to actually leave this place to freely explore is a more difficult question.
I don't see how.
You are not Klingon. And
Well, think about it. Your whole philosophy is based off of glory and honor, right?
that is a very surface level understanding, but yes.
Then is it truly right for someone to deny you your path of glory? Glory comes in many shapes and sizes. It is only your decision to determine what your glory is. When you go to hell, when you go to Grethor, I can surely tell you, your glory, how you see it, matters.
She glances at you with a bit of side eye. Are you suggesting that the daughter of your lord and master is doomed to a fate in Grethor? Are you
No,
insinuating I do not have the fire in my heart? I do think that my father would take exception to that.
I never said you were going there. I'm saying you should be able to branch out your wings and earn the glory that you deserve. Do you feel that you're earning your glory where you are now?
They're not the same opportunities, but well, much of this, I'm figuring out my own means of struggle, my own way to earn honor. Some of that does come with the work that I have learned to do. You would not be, well, I don't, I hope it wouldn't surprise you much to learn that I have had quite an opportunity to learn something of the trades that the family has long engaged in. She also likewise produces a blade from the folds of her dress. I've also become quite handy with a mek'leth.
I remember.
And perhaps one day, when my father completes that arrangement he would so like to set up, and has accrued what he needs for that dowry that we should have to pay, then perhaps in the arms of another house I will find some other form of glory, or perhaps they will be more permissive in some other pursuits.
An arranged marriage?
To an extent. There's no house that has worked particularly to... Well, none really pay note to the House of Court. And as the situation currently stands, there would be very little reason to. Our prestige is not what it once was.
Marriage isn't going to solve anything, I don't think. Everyone has a right to choose. Everybody has a right to be free. You shouldn't have to have your freedoms taken away because of, I'm sorry if this is disrespectful, but it kind of is, a popularity contest. Your father is one of the greatest Klingons I've ever seen. I've seen traitors, I've seen scum and higher powers, but your captain, at the end of the day, will be going to the better of the two places. Most of the ones that are in higher power with all of the wealth and all the glory, they will rot. Because most of them didn't get there by honest and true means. I've seen it. I've seen horrible Klingons in high power. Power changes people.
She grins.
But I will say only the best stay in long.
She grins in your general direction. Your words are kind, Traven Lex. And I have no doubt of that as well, be it for my father's piety or that his honor is without question. It is more that it is not simply that he concerns himself with what could come afterwards, but the material status of our family here. There's much that it does not go said around me. I do not think they want me to worry as much, but it would be hard to not know that materially our house has been in most dire straits these past years, decades, even on almost to a full century. This place was once vibrant and with a great deal of trade ships that would make their way all throughout the Empire. Now, Tabor's fort, Takur's fort is but a shadow of what it was. And there's the possibility that by joining another house I might do something to help our prestige and perhaps bring some further honor, glory, influence back to the house, something that my father, for all the hard work he does, for all that he would bring, that in and of itself would not be enough. It would not equal what he thinks we could gain otherwise. She glances up at the stars. You may have some points, Draven Lex. There may be some paths which I would have to forego if this comes to be. But we won't know until we get to that path. Until that point comes. Then,
When you do get there, will you ask yourself something for me?
she glances over. She could raise her eyebrows such that, her the ridged forehead allows it. She would, but you get the slight expression. What is that?
Which would bring more glory to your house? You as a wife, or you as a warlord?
I do not know if a warrior house would necessarily take me, but I assure you, if I ever found myself in that place, I suspect I could manage both. And
I don't
with
see why you can be the warrior for your house.
Huh. Well, if it comes to me doing that, then there will be a good number of people dead already, and you might be among them.
I have a habit of not dying.
For some reason, I'm not confident about that.
You should ask your dad about it sometime. He'll tell you. I don't die.
She just gives you a wide grin. Well, let's test that another day, Traven Lex. In the meantime, perhaps we can enjoy just a few more stars.
And this last bit of warnog that I kept to myself.
You'd better have another mug there.
I do.
That's some of the best tasting stuff I've had. So,
One day I'll tell you why I'm so good at it.
I'm sure, she says. And yeah, with the last bits of the warnog still slightly warmed, the two of you have a moment out in the twilight of Mektor, staring up at the stars and thinking of what might be where and what adventures could wait out there. So, with all that going, I can't think of anything else that would take place during the evening. I will note that the Vopri at this point, back on the bridge, is reaching a point of frustration as every computer has turned to Gawk pockets floating in over the screen. It's a screensaver, basically.
Very nice.
Yep. But let's see. Would we want to take a moment would we like to skip ahead to the next morning then? Or does anybody have other closing thoughts they'd want to do, to engage? Hearing none, I think we...
Wait. I was muted while I was making noises of thinking. As long as the Warnog hasn't hit me too hard, I wanted to delve into the contract offered and go over it with the wife. I could do that in the morning. I did say to the guy that he'd have an answer the following day. I just didn't say when. Which would be easier for you? Hello? Hello?
I don't hear the JM.
No. Neither do I. I thought that was me for a second there.
Sorry, microphone issue, everybody. Anyway, cutting ahead to that next morning, I will say, Tabak, that you and Morathi have been going over this. You feel like you've gone up and down with the contract multiple times at this point, and it's like, after multiple reads through, it does seem fair. Like, you've gone through the fine print, you've tried to hunt for any situation that might cause you some level of grief, or, that you might come to regret later. And I'd say that pretty much across the board, everything you are dealing with is more in the vein of calculated risk or investment, as opposed to there's nothing that expressly seems like it is meant to be a gotcha provision, essentially.
This really does look like a straight up, honest to Kalis business deal.
Yeah.
That benefits both parties.
That it does. I will say, for its part, the asks that they have, they do obviously expect you to pay back loans at some point, but the time scale seems to be fair enough that with the latitude they've granted you to earn revenue, and with what could come through the port,
and whatever profit sharing is in there as well.
Exactly.
It looks, as long as their projections are correct, it's doable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm going to say this is where we interject in the words, or get into the conversation. To which Morathi will say, going over a copy of her own, even if their projections are slower, this rate is what they're asking for would be fairer. We could find other ways, particularly with the funding that they are offering, not just to refurbish the starport, but, well, some of this excess wealth we could easily invest in additional trade ships. We might be able to make up some of the shortfall if it comes around a different way. Or if the trade is not what
Yes.
they say it is.
More ships would be good.
Yes. Perhaps then you could afford to take a more hands-off approach, or at least perhaps more managerial. It would be nice to have you here.
Yeah, it would. Tagbach for a second looks like he's about to say something, like he wants to tell Marathi something, but the words simply will not form. His mouth won't make them. And for a split second, he looks a little confused, but then the whole episode passes. The deal looks good. And you are in agreement, wife.
I am. Your brother, stubborn as he can be, and foolish as the venture may have been to undertake it alone, to undertake this agreement, does seem to have brought in something quite honorable, and something that would help us a great deal. There is more to Hashok's offer, or something else that they would not want to steer. They would not want us to know. Then it is beyond me. I do not like that the way that it came to us, but the Shatloth Guild is. They do have a reputation.
They do. The reputation is as strong as steel. I've never heard anything about them to suggest anything other than honesty and honor. I think we shall accept this deal. I see no way to amend it to make it even better. Though I have heard an expression, when something sounds too good, it is, and this still continues to worry me. Wife, my time away from home, dealing with the people I have had to deal with, has instilled in me a decided sense of distrust and suspicion. And I don't know anymore if this is good or bad.
I do not envy the choices you had to make, nor the challenges that you had to face, husband. But this, well, perhaps just maybe this time we can meet this struggle, this conflict on terms more suited to what we have done and what we're used to. Indeed, what you should have been able to do throughout these many years.
We'll accept their deal, and we will see what will become of us.
I will make arrangements with the. I will begin to make arrangements with with Hashok and see about having his shuttle come back down. We can keep the information to ourselves for now, unless you wish to, say, inform those closest to you, your crew. I suppose with that good news, it may directly affect their fate.
It may. One of the first things I would do is give that old bucket out there a very serious overhaul. It's an ancient ship, but it has served well and deserves more than I have been able to give. And if it's a warship, it is not a commercial ship. But if we're going to be able to get more ships, I want that as my targ to protect my flock.
It has served you. It has served us well, you especially. And strange as that crew is of yours, they seem to be doing the same.
They have. They are, for what and who they are, they have been an amazing crew. And I am still missing one. You would be amazed by this one, wife. Have you heard of the Kazin?
Kazin people. I have heard of their exploits, supposedly great warriors. I presume you found one of your own?
Yes. Her name is Woe, and she was my weapons officer, but she's been taken from me. And I need to find her. Immense. By all the gods that used to be, this creature was huge, but still a great warrior. And if I don't try to find her, I will be dishonored. I will spend my life in Brethor, my afterlife. She has served me well and asked so very little of me. But first things first. Do you know where my brother is?
I will see about finding him. Perhaps while I am doing that, you should let your crew know of what is to come. As much as they have served in our, in the capacity to bring us to where we were, perhaps at least some of them might want to be at a ceremony like this.
No. I will let them know, but I do not think they have a place at the signing of the deal. That's not their place.
As you see fit, husband. You may let them know, and I will tend to Tabor. If you wish, I can get in contact with the House of Hashok, and I can make it known.
I'll contact them. You find Tabor.
So, Morathi will leave you to it and give you a moment to signal the bridge. Which, at that point, as you you activate your communicator, clicking the button on your wrist, we cut to the bridge where a very sleepy Azek and Vopri have been going back and forth with the computer system as Vopri is just rubbing wrinkles into his otherwise smooth, sinewy white forehead. Oh, I do not understand. The moment the comm signal comes in, the computers clear up to normal function. I don't know.
You're a miracle worker, Vopri. Nice work.
He's just the smallest bamboozled man. Okay. Oh, I should take this, he says, tapping the button. This is Jan.
Jan, this is your captain. How is everyone awake and not feeling the effects of this last night's celebration?
I believe some of the crew are stirring. Most may be in the mess hall at this point.
Have Traven prepare an excellent breakfast for the entire crew, and then let me know when it is soon to be served. I will be joining everyone on board the ship shortly.
Oh, okay, Captain.
And then I'll just sign off.
Yep. And Vopri closes out the channel. Shortly afterwards, the computers... Ray, anything you want the computers to do at this point, or does Tabok's approach instill good behavior?
Oh, good behavior all around. Nothing has been wrong this entire time.
Yep. Then Vopri just exchanges a glance with you, Essek.
He kind of shrugs and kind of leans into the you did a really good job, Vopri. Congratulations on figuring that problem out. Good job. Knowing full well that it most likely wasn't him, but he wants to validate Vopri's hard work and lack of sleep.
Yep.
Try to encourage the guy.
Yep. You tap on his shoulder, telling him good job, and he just slumps forward and falls asleep on the console.
Azek has got to be the most progressive Klingon ever.
It's
Or
the music.
a deviant.
It's
A
the
deviant.
It's the music. It changes it, man. I'll radio Traven, brain fart there for a second, and let him know about the dinner, and to break out the deluxe, not gawk pockets, but the deluxe breakfast food. Captain said to make it a good meal, really good meal. So,
Yeah.
and I know he's not a fan of gawk pockets, especially the breakfast gawk pockets, because they need just a little bit of tweaking before we.
I think that is where we will leave off on the archive tonight. So, for those of you that joined us here, thank you so much, and we will see you next time. I think next adventure we will wrap up what we have here. So, hopla.